Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with another battle report. So this is my In Search for a Tournament list part 4. Um, Another idea I've been wanting to try lately is to go back to using a Bestigor herd, which means I really can't do the Doom Bull Minotaurs. There's just not enough points for it. So it's based on a couple big blocks of infantry supported by 3 shamans with the Herdstone. So we rolled up Meeting Engagement, and this is against the same Lizardman player I played just a couple games ago, and he's taken some real chances with this list, trying some new things, which I applaud. And, well, I'll let you see in just a second. So this is kind of in the middle of the table. It's actually on his far, relatively speaking, on his far right. He's got a unit of Source Warriors, spears, supported by a Scarvet on a cold one, and that's kind of his approach. And the one thing he didn't realize and it didn't affect this game, but I told him that if I targeted his Scarvet with a magic missile, he wasn't I could target him even though he's in a unit because it's a different unit type. And so that's something he may be considering for future lists. He also has a Skink Priest level 1 with Heavens and a scroll. And another thing that neither one of us thought about till after the game was that this guy probably has to be outside the unit. He could be attached to it, but he won't be stuck in there like he is, because he has a different base size. So that's what happens when you play around different lists, is you don't think about some of those things. And like I said, neither one of us really thought about it till the game was halfway over or so. Anyway, a couple salamanders in front of him. Here in the middle, he's got his Slaan, but instead of Temple Guard, he's bringing a big unit of Source Warriors, supported, of course, by another Scarvet. And then the unit on the right is another unit of Source Warriors, and you can see in the middle, there's front row there's a space where a cold one could be. That's a character that, because of Meeting Engagement, could not come on, and that's the only thing that couldn't come on. So if you look at the Slaan's build, I mean, just nasty. And it's funny, with all that stuff, the only thing I really hate, and I've always hated, is the cupped hands. And I realize this game that the way you do that is you just make sure you keep your wizards 24 inches away from them. And usually when people use a Slaan, they hang back, and so it really isn't that hard to do. So anyway. And here's his one model that didn't roll on, a Scarvet. My assumption was he would put him on and then move him up into that unit. So for me, these are the units that didn't come on. I've got a small unit of Gore completely naked. I mean, not even extra hand weapons that I'm thinking about using just as a bunker for my mages in case somebody has shooting and I need some lookout sir rolls. And then I've got a smallish 23-man Gore unit, extra hand weapons. Other than that, everything came on. And the way I deployed, I knew he had chameleon skinks, and I just didn't want his chameleon skinks behind my lines. And so I spaced it. My guys can march 10 and still be within 6 inches of that Herdstone. And so I used my 3 different spellcasters to keep his chameleon skinks away from my lines, as well as at the top left, my harpies. So I liked how that worked out. Taking the Great Brave Shaman, he's got Skull of Arcos, so it's every wizard within 6 inches gets +1 to cast. So I figure if I'm going to have a bunch of guys standing around the Herdstone, that could have some synergy there. So I kind of liked it. Gave him a magic sword in case I'm playing vampire counts. A couple Brave Shamans. Level 2. Everybody has beasts, so I could get the spells that I want. Harpies up left, Tuskor Chariot, Harpies, another Tuskor Chariot. So then I have my horde of extra hand weapon Gore with my battle standard bearer. He's got the Beast Banner, so everybody in that unit gets +1 strength. And then the Beastlord, and he's got the typical build of 1 up rerollable armor save. Every time he makes one, gives him an extra attack. Brass Cleaver, which gives him an extra attack against every model on base contact. And then the Crown of Command. That item is just too useful not to take. My plan is not to keep him in this unit. I want him in the 23-man unit that didn't make it on the board, but they did make it on the board, and that's why he's not with them. So I figure with that, I've got, he makes that unit fairly formidable, and then I've got this, horde that can stand on its own, and then of course my Bestigors on the right, they can certainly stand on their own, and they have the Flaming Attacks banner. So Lizardman go first. He moves up with his shooting units. Everybody else, of course, just hangs back. And then he really surprised me. He brought this character, instead of bringing him behind his lines and putting him in the unit, which was the original design, he brought him where my Harpies couldn't see him, and therefore couldn't charge him, and where he, I assume, wants to come behind my lines and threaten my spellcasters around the Herdstone, which I thought was a pretty good plan. In all honesty, if he made it to where the Harpies could charge him, I probably would charge him, but I don't think I would win. I just can't. He's got a 1-up armor save. I think he may even have a ward save, but whatever it is, I'm not going to be able to get past it. So it looks like that. Chameleon Skinks do 2 wounds to the Tuskor Chariot. I don't know what he should have done, but I was happy enough only getting 2 wounds there. One Salamander misfired and ate some Skinks. The other one killed 5 Gore, and overall I felt very happy there. His magic phase didn't do anything. He has the Lore of Light, and I'm just really unimpressed with the Lore of Light's offensive capabilities. I know once you get in combat, it's nasty, but in terms of making me come to him, it doesn't have enough to worry me. So, Beastman turn 1. I wanted to charge his Chameleon Skinks, but I didn't want to take a stand and shoot, so the Harpies are in their flank. So I charged the Chameleon Skinks with the Harpies. I probably wouldn't need much to get there, and he fled. So that puts me where you see me, and so if his guy charges me, I'll flee, and I think it's going to stick him in a corner and slow him down for a turn. If you look at the top left, my Tuskor Chariot also charged the Chameleon Skinks. They fled. They hit the Saurus Warrior unit, and at the time he had them 2 ranks deep, and because of that, when they popped through the Saurus unit, they were off the table. So that was nice. The Chariot, with that marker by it, had the net spell on it, so you had to pass a strength test, or you couldn't move. And I tested on strength 4. In hindsight, I think that Chariot itself is strength 5, and so I probably I rolled a 5 for the test. So anyway, the Chariot couldn't charge. And I charged my Gore Herd at the Salamanders as well. Or I charged the Gore Herd at the Salamanders, they fled, and it was a failed charge. And actually, wasn't unhappy with that because it puts him right in front of his lines. I think it makes it difficult for that leftmost unit to charge and get into the action. And really what I want to do is I want my Bestigor herd to kind of slow things up in the middle, and I want my Gore herd to slow things up the middle, and my Bestigor herd to wrap up the right flank and then come down the lines. And I really think the Bestigor herd can handle anything that's standing in front of it. This big unit I brought on the table this turn and just brought it in the corner. These ruins were treating as difficult terrain, so if I march, I have to take dangerous terrain tests, and I don't care. I just like that they're close to the action and threatening a flank. So, Lizardman turn 2, he charges the Harpies. I flee, and so he has a failed charge in the corner, which I love. His leftmost Saurus Warrior unit charged my Chariot, and I fled. Bounced through my unit, killed a guy, and I felt very lucky to only kill one when I fled through him with the Chariot. So his Saurus Warriors there on the left had a failed charge. He rallies the Salamanders. The other guys, I think the other 2 units actually backed up a little bit. And we go to Beastmen turn 2. They were far enough away I didn't think I was going to make any charges, so I didn't really try here on the right. I walked the Bestigors up far enough that I know I can get the charge next time, but I didn't really want both of his units there on the right-hand side to be able to charge me, so I wanted to stay a little bit back so his Slaan's unit couldn't charge. Otherwise, as you can see, the Chariot this time does charge the Salamanders. It kind of blocks up my Gore Herd with the Battle Standard Bearer, but again, I don't care too much about that. Now here, the decision I make is, do I stay close to that Herdstone, or do I get close enough that there's some buffs that are 12 inches only. And so this wizard you see moving up has the Transformation of Kadan spell as well as the Pan's Impenetrable Pelt. So I'm taking him closer to the action so he can buff my characters should I need it. And more importantly, I want to turn him into a Mount Chimera because I just love doing that. And he needs to be close to the action for that to really matter. So go to Beastman turn 2, yeah, or during my turn. Both these units rally, which is nice. He's going to be able to charge both of them with his character, but I'll just flee and he'll be stuck there for yet another turn. And this I was really disappointed with. I only did, I think, 1 wound to a skink. That just really hurts. I might have done a wound to a salamander, I'm just not sure. He does 1 wound to me, and he sticks. So he charges his character at my Harpies. I flee. He tries to redirect to my Chariot and fails his leadership test. So that means I'm going to get a counter charge with my chariot. And really, my impact hits need to kill him. I need to survive my dangerous terrain test, kill him with impact hits, or else he's going to win that combat. And over here, yeah, he had to take his Slaan out of the unit because he knows that he's going to be getting in combat pretty soon. And that's tough because my Great Brave Shaman has the Amber Spear, so I can start picking on the Slaan. But then again, what do? Do you keep him in combat and have me targeting him? So I think that's the danger of playing this list. We talked about it afterwards, by the way, and I said, when you take out the Temple Guard, what does that give you? How many points do you save? And he said, well, I can take 30 Source Warriors for 20 Temple Guard. And we looked at each other. We're like, I think I think 20 Temple Guard are probably a better fit. So I love that he tried this out. My guess is he's probably not going to stick with it. So he actually brought his units up this time, which I thought was interesting. And if you look on the left, yeah, he just kind of brings his other Source Warriors more to the table. I don't know if he tried charging something or what. So during the magic phase, he casts this direct damage spell from the Lore of Light and gets an irresistible force. And so he does 2 wounds by Great Brave Shaman, and I was, I think, very fortunate that's all he did. And in the miscast, he has the thing where if on a 2-up, he can push that miscast off to one of my wizards, and that was the mistake I made when I brought that wizard up to the front so I could use the transformation. I should have been thinking about that 24-inch thing so that, if I stay back, he can't push that miscast off. So he tries to push it off, and he rolls a 1, which was horrible luck and absolutely devastating. He rolls an 11 on the miscast table, loses 3 magic levels, and he's now a level 1 Slaan, knowing, I guess he probably knows 3 spells because he was a lore master, but still, that's his effectiveness is really shot because I've got a level 4 to his level 1, his 2 level 1s, and now I'm not worried about his magic phase whatsoever. So that was absolutely huge. You can see this combat. I actually did better on the round I didn't charge. I killed a couple more skinks. But we're just sticking around bottling up the middle of the table. So we go to Beastmen turn 3, and finally we're going to start getting into some action here. So the Bestigors charge his Lizardmen. I'm gonna tear him up, and I can't do anything with my Gore herd, so I just charge my general out. And again, he's got the Crown of Command, so I know that we're going to get a challenge between his champion and my Beastlord. We both have a 1-up rerollable, and he's going to have a lot of static combat res, and I've got the Crown of Command. We're just going to be stuck there in the middle for a long time. Here on the far left, I go ahead and charge his character. I pass the dangerous terrain test. I'm sitting on 2 wounds. Again, I need to kill him right now, or he's going to eventually kill my chariot. My Harpies failed to rally. They fled through my Great Brave Shaman, my Brave Shaman, and this unit of Gore, and the Herdstone. So I lost 1 more to the Herdstone dangerous terrain test. And luckily, all 3 of my units passed. They did have the BSB reroll, but they did not have the General's leadership. I was really worried. My Great Brave Shaman failed his first one, and then he passed. I was really kind of worried there for a bit. So it looks like that before we fight. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, Strength 5 seems good. That I'm Strength 5, that seems good, but on a 1-up rerollable, that means he has a 3-up rerollable. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, and I think that token, well, the token's +1 strength and toughness, but it goes away anyway at the magic phase. So after combat, yeah, he found out what Bestigors can do there. Again, I had the decision: instead of pursuing, do I just reform so I can, on my next turn, come into the flank of his other unit, which was very tempting. But I had a greater than 50-50 chance of running him down, and still a chance of being able to see and countercharge on my next turn anyway, so I thought I'd try it, and I didn't catch him. So he's probably pretty easily going to rally, and I'm going to have to, wait longer to take care of him. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter. That unit in the middle, I really don't think they're going to budge my Beastlord, and so I've got time. And his leftmost unit against my herd of Gore, my horde of Gore, I'm not worried about. I think I'll win that event. If we ever get in the combat, I think I'll win it. If you look at the left, my chariot is actually doing pretty well against the salamanders. I mean, you'd think I'd do better when I charged in. You can see I moved my other spellcaster up. That way he can buff my general to make him +3 toughness. And then after I moved him up, I realized I just don't need it. My 1-up rerollable is going to protect him enough. So he can turn into a Mountain Chimera. Other than that, he has no business being here. And over here, I do a couple wounds, but he has a 1-up rerollable, or 1-up with 1 reroll. And anyway, he saves them all, so yeah, that's not going to go well. So on his turn, he rallies his Saurus warriors. He charges the chariot with this Saurus block. Yeah. And so the only thing that's going to matter here is if he breaks me from combat or kills me, because that's going to affect how he overruns. If he breaks me from combat, he's going to come towards my Gore Herd and probably not get there. And if he just kills him and overruns, he's going to hit my mage. So it looks like that. Yeah, there are no wounds being exchanged between my Beastlord and his hero level. None at all. Kills my chariot on the left. And yeah, so he kills my chariot here in the middle, overruns, hits my my shaman. And we go to Beastman turn 4. So go ahead and charge these guys again. This time there won't be enough of them left to rally except on Snake Eyes, so I know for a fact I'm just going to reform after this one. Harpies charge the flank of his lone salamander. I think if they get lucky, I know he has toughness 4, so it's going to be tough, but I think for the most part they can handle it. And then I reform my horde so that there's room for my Mountain Chimera. So there's a close-up. There's that. And that's after the magic phase. That was so fun. The thing I like about the Herdstone is I get so many dice. Anyway, I was able to throw 6 at it. I think he threw 6 trying to dispel and couldn't do it. And I'm realizing Mount Chimera is not always the best option. You can go for the dragon options if you're worried about surviving, and the Mount Chimera if you want to just do damage. And I just don't care about surviving. I mean, this is a 137 point-ish character. I just don't care. I just want to really weaken this unit. So he's going to issue a challenge with his character, who's got a 1-up armor save and a ward save. So even though I'm strength 7, that still means he gets a 5-up armor save and then a 4-up ward save. So it gets kind of dicey. And I couldn't believe it. You will not see this very often. Basically, we got in the challenge. I killed his character, and I could have done the breath weapon too because it was at the same initiative, but I decided not to because I wanted to save it for the next round of combat in case I was still around. His character was dead. I had overkill, but he still won through combat res by 1. The general was nearby, so I was a leadership 8 rerollable and failed it. And luckily, he didn't catch me. It was so funny. Like, really? I mean, wow. So anyway, in overrunning, he runs into my horde. And again, now he doesn't have the character. And I've got the +4 strength banner, or the +1 strength banner. And I've got a magic phase that I can buff my units. So I think for the most part, I'm really not worried about this combat. I absolutely destroyed his warriors. I killed them all +5, I think, and reformed. So this is what I was hoping to do all along, and it worked, and now he's in trouble. And he really can't buff things with his Slaan because he just doesn't have the magic levels to do it. So too little too late, he's bringing his character over to try to threaten my mages. Here in the middle, he moves his Slaan so he doesn't just get charged, but he really can't hide him. I mean, I can Amber Spear him. When I charge my Bestigors in, I'm going to totally demolish that unit and overrun into a Slaan. So, yeah, more looks at the board. Yeah, that's the perspective that I really like. And over here, I kill 8, but he kills 6. Or however it worked out. I think I won combat by 2, but his Slaan was nearby with a reroll, so he was fine. After combat here, this was actually kind of my suggestion, but I just said, why don't you reform? You know you're going to get a charge. So reform, put my general in the flank, and then you're going to get at least just a ton of strength 4 attacks on my Bestigor, and you're going to hit before I hit. And he agreed that was a good idea, so that's going to be bloody. Matter of fact, I almost didn't charge in because I was thinking I had the game anyway, but then I realized I'm going to have a magic phase. So overall, the board looks like that. The Harpies and the Salamander are still stuck in combat. My Horde's in combat. My Bestigors are now in combat. Go to the magic phase. Basically, there's 2 spells I want. +1 strength and toughness on the Bestigor, and the Curse of Honor here on his other unit, and I have 2 mages to cast the +1 strength and toughness. So with the Herdstone, I really kind of have enough dice to do it 3 times. I think he can dispel 1 is all he can do, and I got both spells off. So I got the Curse on his Source Warriors, and +1 strength and toughness on my Bestigor, just so they can survive enough. My fear was he would kill enough that I wouldn't get enough attacks back. So over here I kill a bunch, but again he kind of kills a bunch, and I think I won by 2. And he with the general in the nearby in the reroll he stuck. And over here, yeah, we didn't even finish moving it. Totally obliterated that unit. He had very few left. With the overrun, we both would have gone to the Slaan. It doesn't matter if his other unit survived or not. I don't think he was. I think he was under 25% regardless. And at that point, the game actually took like 3.5 hours. So at that point, we just called it. I mean, I had the game obviously. We were going to destroy the Slaan. My Horde of Gore did not need any help killing the rest of his Source unit, and he had very little left on the board. So, yeah, this list worked well, but obviously it certainly helped that his Slaan lost 3 magic levels and wasn't able to buff units when we finally got to combat, which is what the Lore of Light does. So, I don't want to. I'm not saying this list is so much better than my Doom Bull list just because the outcome was different. I think I played better and certainly got pretty lucky with his Slaan. So I'm probably going to work with between these 2 lists a few more games to see which one I like. But anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.